Super Sentai Brothers. This is episode 2 of License to Carranger, the internet's best and only podcast dedicated to Gekisou Sentai Carranger. Every week we watch an episode of the show and we share our thoughts with you, the listeners. My name is Matt J, and with me as always is my co-host and brother Dave. Dave, how you doing today, bud?
Good.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, that's it. No, just enjoying a nice cup of coffee.
Yeah, we're recording in the morning. It's an early record today.
Yeah, I feel so productive.
Yeah, I'm going to have my whole day in front of me. A whole day to probably get around to doing laundry, but really instead just actually want to play Secret of Mana on my Super Nintendo.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Love Secret of Mana.
It's extremely good.
It is.
I was flipping through that Super Nintendo Classic last night, and I just heard the opening theme of it start playing, and was immediately I was in the other room, and it the thing went to a screensaver mode, and that theme started playing, and I just stopped what I was doing and walked in. I was like, oh yeah, this is where it's at. Anyway,
Man, I'm going to give myself that experience because I don't remember what that song sounds like.
Ooh.
And as soon as I hear it, I will immediately be able to do the whole thing for you, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
Anyways,
it's one of those name that tune things where if I started to whistle it. Anyway.
Yeah.
But Dave, we're not here to talk about Secret of Mana. I mean, we're always down a little bit to talk about Secret of Mana.
I was going to say, it's never too far.
That is not expressly what we are here for. We are here today to talk about episode 2 of Gekisou Sentai.
There it is.
Yeah, you found it.
Yeah, thank you.
Episode 2 of Gekisou Sentai Carranger is called The Dancing Noise Pollution. And Dave, at this point in the show, normally I would ask you what our first star of the week is, because of course, as always, shining in the heavens, there are 5 stars. But this is our Christmas episode, and we thought it would be fun to do a Christmas treat for you all. So we have gotten in touch with some of our previous friends, still our friends, previous guests, to do some guest star, all-star, 5 stars. So, that being said, Jake, what is our first star of the week?
So, Shannon, what's our first star of the week?
My first star of the week, or I guess, is it this year or is it just this week?
I guess it's this year.
I guess my biggest one is I just launched a webcomic based off of a story I've been carrying around for the last 20 years. I hate saying that out loud.
That is a how can I spin this? That is a well-aged idea. I almost said podcast. I've been up since 4 a.m. That is an idea that has withstood the test of time. Then I guess
I am mostly stubborn.
That too. What's it called? What's it about? I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Both, but just in case.
It is called Dragon Sanctuary. It is at dragonsanctuarycomic.com. It's a fantasy story that's kind of just playing in the sandbox of fantasy and kind of just, I guess, dissecting the Chosen One storyline. Oh no, it's just playing with a bunch of fantasy tropes, but in a very I love these, but I will also wedgie these.
Yeah. It's definitely because knowing that you have had it in your pocket for 20 years, it's definitely what fantasy stuff do I think is cool when you're 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then every so often being what do I think is cool now? And it just adds and changes.
Yeah,
until you get
basically what happened.
Because there's a lot of neat stuff going on there.
Yeah, it's basically just a kid finds out that he's the chosen one of some big ancient story, and since he didn't grow up with it, it's a lot of him being like, this is stupid. Why is the entire culture of this planet tied into a stupid fairy tale that you call a fairy tale, but it's also kind of real?
It's also my favorite thing about it is about the chosen one thing in that world is it's there's a chosen one legend, and the bad guys know it too.
Yeah,
and that sucks for the chosen one.
Yeah, so it's this family is the chosen family. Oh no.
It's available now. I don't know when this is going up. This is a Christmas time episode, so I'm assuming in a couple weeks. So you got probably around 15 pages up.
I hope so. Yeah. I am actually conveniently counting down to page 15 because that's when one of my favorites shows up.
Oh, well, see, so maybe you'll get the third main character showing up by the time you listen to this.
Yeah, as we're recording it, I just put up page 12 today. So there's not a big chunk, but a little chunk.
And there's also a whole mess more on your Patreon.
Yeah, if you support it on Patreon, which there are links on the website, then you'll see more stuff. And I think you get like 20 finished pages.
Yeah. It's good
All right.
stuff.
So, Jake, what is star number 2?
Star number 2, I was trying to think of like what I did this year, but it was mostly work a lot. And that's not super exciting to talk about. So I want to talk about the new Netflix movie, The Christmas Chronicle, which is my favorite Christmas movie of all time now.
Is that the one with like hot Santa Kurt Russell?
It's hot Grandpa Santa Kurt Russell. And let me tell you about this movie. I need you to watch it, first of all.
Well, you had me at hot Grandpa Santa Kurt Russell.
It is maybe my favorite. It starts off very similarly to the Santa Claus in that, like, they don't kill Santa. Let me assuage anyone's fears. They do not kill Santa. They do wreck Santa's whole night. And then it's these two kids who are, one's a teen, one is a 10-year-old. She's like 10 or 11. Both really good actors. I don't think we looked up the teen boy. He's not been in a ton of stuff. The girl has been in presumably less because she's 10. But they're both really, really good. And it's basically their mom she's a nurse, so she gets like called in to do a shift at the ER or whatever. And so they're like not estranged, but like their dad died recently. And so like they're like, there's all that turmoil. And so like basically they get the idea that they are going to stay up and catch Santa because they saw him on one of their dad's videotapes, maybe. And they do catch Santa because it's a movie about Santa Claus. And then they ruin his night by crashing his sleigh and making him lose his hat, which is where all of his magic powers come from. And so if he doesn't get back in time to deliver all the presents, then Christmas cheer will go down and the Dark Ages will happen again. The last time Santa didn't deliver presents on Christmas, the Dark Ages started.
I knew Kurt Russell was powerful. I didn't know he was that powerful.
He's very powerful. He's such a good Santa because he's like fun Kurt Russell Santa. Like he's not like he will not say ho ho ho. That's like marketing. Like a marketing company came up with it. He's like, that's not me. I don't do that. He's also like fit Kurt Russell, like fit Grandpa Kurt Russell. So he's like that fat guy on all the posters. That's not me either, and everyone thinks that's me. So he's like a real fun, like, version of Santa.
Is it like Captain Ron level Kurt Russell?
It's a little bit Captain Ron. It's very I can't remember his name from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh yeah, that guy. I don't remember
Jack
his
Burton.
name either.
Jack Burton.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Took me a second.
That is the most 80s like protagonist name.
Oh, absolutely. But it's like if Jack Burton became Santa Claus. There is a full-on musical number, like 100%, like the E Street Band, like Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. I think it's just them. They are in the movie and they do a musical number with Kurt Russell singing a Santa Claus song.
Kurt Russell can sing?
Very well.
That's amazing.
It's not so much that he sings good. It's that he is very confident in his singing, and it's like it's really good singing, but it's not like, classically trained. It's just like Kurt Russell's like, I'm going to have as much fun as I possibly can, and it comes through.
So it's like a fun karaoke night. You don't got to be good, you just got to be excited.
Yeah, exactly. But he's I don't want to say where he is, but he is Santa Claus doing this musical number.
That's awesome.
It's very good. The whole movie is really, really good. It's on Netflix, which statistically speaking, every single human alive has access to in one way or another. So that's star number 2. I don't know how to end these. So I guess we'll just toss it over to the next person. Brian, What's star number 3?
Star number 3 this week is Christmas cookies.
Oh man, that is an excellent choice. Not least of which because I legitimately just in the break between recording our podcast, Mount Olympus, and turning the mics back on to record this star with you guys, I ate some Christmas cookies.
I feel like you've been holding out. I've received no Christmas cookies from you.
They only showed up in my house at about 5:30.
Okay.
So here's the secret. We didn't bake any Christmas cookies this year. That's not entirely true. My wife has made some stuff for school.
Oh, yeah.
But we haven't. I'm making a baklava here shortly.
Oh.
But my mom, especially around Christmas, just bakes tons of cookies. And my parents just showed up with boxes of cookies 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago.
Nice.
Very cool.
So,
any particular favorite Christmas cookies we got going on?
I do have a specific Christmas one. It's one that all of you will recognize, but all of our listeners might not. My family's number one Christmas cookie is the Buckeye.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Which is very much an Ohio take on a bonbon.
Sure.
But the version that my family makes has like a Rice Krispies cereal in the peanut center, so it's got a bit of a crisp to it.
Sure. Yeah.
Interesting.
Is that not the typical Buckeye?
No, man.
They're more smooth. Although we're not the only ones who use that recipe, but they are more bonbon textured generally.
Yeah.
Right, because what I wanted to say there is the only people who have ever given me Buckeyes are basically your mother. So that is my entire standard for what those are supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's smooth peanut butter.
Yeah,
usually.
typically.
Peanut butter and powdered sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then chocolate dipped.
Yep.
Yeah, Buckeyes.
What about you guys?
For me, you two might know, but you know Stauffer's that makes the cookies in your area.
Yeah.
So they have chocolate stars.
Mm-hmm.
And every year growing up, my grandma would get us something for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And it's been my grandma's she's got like fast moving dementia, and so it hasn't happened for a while. And I was in my Giant Eagle, like up here in Ohio.
Yeah, Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, Northeast Ohio the other week, and I saw them. And I had like this mini in the store, and I grabbed some boxes of them. And so this year I am going to be able to give my family like Stauffer's chocolate stars for the first time in a while.
Because there's some weird connection between our Giant Eagle and York, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Because like stuff that is specific, like based in York, shows up in our grocery store.
It's very weird.
Like,
I'm not complaining.
Like Stauffer's showed up there,
Yeah.
and I remember there was one day we were shopping, and there were boxes of maple donuts.
Which is the best donut shop in the world.
They are.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Stauffer's, I think, is owned by Nestle these days, so I think they are trying to expand
Okay.
the reach. My dad loves those chocolate stars, too. I don't know why. I mean, not that they're bad.
No.
All chocolate is good. I just don't know what specifically it is about them that appeals.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much a nostalgia thing for me. Like they're tasty, but for me it's we always got them, and so I'm very excited to see them again.
I just find them easy to eat.
What's your
Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say for me, I would say it's either the cookies with Hershey Kisses on them or the ones with peanut butter cups.
Sure.
Oh.
Okay.
I like just both of those. They're at least simple to eat. I have no idea the complexities of actually getting the peanut butter cup like baked into a cookie.
No,
that
they're
seems
pretty
hard.
easy. That one.
Yeah. It's super easy. Yeah. You just like make a thumbprint and sit that sucker on top.
Okay, but yeah, those are probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Lucas.
I don't know. Honestly.
Every cookie is a good cookie.
Yeah. I've never found a bad one.
That isn't true.
No, you don't like butter cookies. We just had this discussion.
Yeah, because they don't taste like
Danish
anything.
butter cookies. Like I love them, and I just bought myself and our baby, because the baby loves them too. But I just got like our second tin of the season. But yeah, you don't like those. But otherwise, it's true. You don't really.
But like snickerdoodles are what are coming to mind right now.
Okay, yeah. I like a good snickerdoodle. I'm fascinated that we're talking about Christmas cookies and no one said gingerbread, shortbread, or sugar.
So shortbread, that's just for tea, just standard. That's nothing. Gingerbread, gingerbread's all right, and honestly, sugar cookies are boring.
I can do without a sugar cookie. I can live without a sugar cookie.
I don't love a flat, crispy sugar cookie. I love the giant, fluffy ones that you can soak in milk. Those are the real sugar cookie.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Here's one real quick wild card. Have you guys ever heard of Kiffles?
No.
So my family calls them Keeflies.
Okay.
There's a bunch of there's like Keffels, there's Kiffles. It's just a bunch of anglicized pronunciations of an old Slovakian nut roll cookie.
Okay.
And I don't know why my family makes them. They're fine. I'm not a huge fan. Like, I wouldn't be real sad if they disappeared, other than I associate them with Christmas.
Okay.
Sure.
Because they're basically just tiny nut rolls with powdered sugar on top. But they're a distinct Christmas cookie for me.
Our weird one is raisin-filled cookies.
Like the pocket kind?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't love them. My dad loves them.
I don't love them.
I don't love them, but yeah, they've got the cooked raisin in the middle and then the dome on top.
Is this just the dad cookie segment? Because I'm pretty sure we have Kiffles because my dad loves them.
So the ones with the peanut butter cups, those are also the ones my dad loves. So unlike you guys, I'm not pulling out hey, here's this other cookie, and here's this reason why I think this cookie is terrible, but I also associate it with Christmas.
Look, I'm not gonna we have 3 kids, and so I'm getting into the mom and dad roles. I'm starting to understand why moms and dads do the things you do. You make cookies for the dad because that's just part of it. You might make some that you want or that the kids want, but for the most part you're like, what is the dad gonna want to eat in Christmas season?
Yeah.
That's why we make them. So yeah.
Here's a weird thing. You guys have 3 kids, so you're getting that kind of family shape. I have 1 kid, and it often feels like we're not her parents, we're just her weird grown-up roommates. We are at almost 8 minutes. We should probably get out of this star.
Probably. You know what? I think it's time to ask, hey, Nick, how are we doing for star number 4?
Hi, it's friend of the show, Nick Douglas, and I've got a baby watch.
We interrupt your regular broadcast of the Super Sentai Brothers to bring you a breaking news update.
Baby watch.
Oh, I love that sound every time. My wife and I are the proud owners of a 4-week-old baby girl named Peony, and it is crazy to me that I have understood that the baby is basically made out of Rachel when she comes out. But I hadn't really thought through that for as long as Rachel is breastfeeding, the baby is still entirely made of Rachel, or of the things Rachel has consumed herself. Her little body doesn't take in any food that hasn't first gone through Rachel. She's a filtration system for the baby, which is great because, a new mother loves to hear that she is things other than a human being. The specific update that I have on our baby is that her eyes have stopped crossing. This is a thing that is apparently very normal in babies. Babies, they don't tell you. They come with all sorts of little things that still aren't quite made yet. So your baby comes out a little broken, which is why they call the first 3 months the 4th trimester. And so of the many things that our baby has fixed now is her eyes. She's starting to focus. She can look at our faces more, make real eye contact, track things, and it's amazing. This is as low bars for people go, and I know that you spend most of parenting being so elated that your little humans have reached these low bars, being able to track something at all or make eye contact, I know is a very low bar, but she has reached it. Dave, I do not understand how you survived doing this twice at once. It's so much work taking care of a baby, especially, if one or both of you has jobs. It should be illegal for them to come in twos. I'm very, very glad that it is not, but you should have gotten 2 free adults in the mix to help take care of, because I cannot imagine doing this twice at once. Anyway, thank you so much for having me on the show. Take it away with the 5th star, Matt and Michael.
Hello, Super Sentai Brothers listeners. My name's Matt.
Hello, Michael's here.
Michael's is here. We're from the Ranger Danger podcast, and we're here to deliver you, gift wrapped, just in time for Christmas, your 5th star of the week. Michael,
quick, we've got to unwrap it first.
Oh, quick, grab it and do a very convincing unwrap. That's it. Good job. Did it very quickly. Uncharacteristically chaotic for you.
I'm very excited for this present.
Yeah.
But what is it, Matthew?
I think it's the 5th star of the week. What is the 5th star of the week, Michael?
Why do you keep doing this to me? You didn't tell me what it was. What did you think was going to happen?
This week's 5th star of the week. Nope, that's not. Nope. Is it? No, that worked. That made sense.
I'm so sorry.
The 5th star of the week is making things.
Yay!
Yay! I've gotten to make some stuff this year. Obviously, the Super Sentai Brothers make a podcast. We make a podcast. And this year I got to make a comic on top of that. In fact, you helped me make a comic.
I helped you make 2 comics.
Yeah, we made 2 comics. Yeah, that's right. We made a Power Rangers comic. We co-wrote a Power Rangers comic. Well, a short story in an annual. And then,
but a comic short story.
A comic short story, correct. And then I wrote a comic called Self-Made for Image Comics, and you did the design on it, Michael. And
I did.
We've done a podcast for that. And it feels good to make things for people, I've discovered. Not really discovered this year, but I've had reinforced. So, yeah, making stuff is pretty cool. How do you feel about it, Michael?
I like it. I've been making some Christmas cards right before you got here.
Oh, what are you doing for your Christmas cards this year?
Can't tell you. It's a surprise.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I wasn't going to give you one because none of them are done yet, and this is the last time I'm going to see you before Christmas. But
so you can tell me then. And presumably you're not going to be giving any cards to the Super Sentai Brothers listeners. So
maybe I will.
Oh, okay.
I can't guarantee that my dad doesn't listen to the Super Sentai Brothers.
That's true.
I mean,
I hear it's a very popular and successful podcast.
Look, I feel like he'd have brought it up, but not impossible.
All right, well, the nature of Michael's Christmas cards will remain a mystery outside of the fact that he made them, and it felt good to do it. So go make stuff, and thank you for listening to this star. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Happy New Year, and stay beautiful.
Do you want to do another outro just in case you decide not to go with Stay Beautiful?
Nah.
Okay, we're just going to give them the one option for that one.
I think so. Okay. Sorry, producer Mark.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Okay, so we start off with a new character who I did not realize was going to be a recurring character while we were watching this scene. There's a dude driving around in a what would you call that, a roadster, Dave?
Yeah, I think you can safely call it a roadster, but not a, like, somebody recently made a car and they called it a roadster. It's not that. This is like a vintage roadster. I genuinely assumed, Matt, based solely on this dude's mustache, that he was a monster in disguise.
Yep, me too.
He's not. He is singing about cars. He is singing like a pretty lengthy song.
This scene goes
just
on
about
for a
like
minute.
how much he Yeah, like just how much he digs cars. He's driving around, and he's got like wireframe glasses and like an old style driving hat and gloves. He pulls into the garage, and I didn't recognize it at first because I don't think we'd seen it from the outside yet.
We had, but we had never seen it in the from the outside during the daytime. I don't think.
Okay, it is astonishing. Like, this is a thing as a 36-year-old person. I am continually astonished by. This is going to sound dumb. How different things look at night than they do in the day. Mm-hmm. Like, I will be driving someplace that I have been many times before, but if I normally go there like during the day or at night, like or whichever, and I flipped it, I'm like, is this the right place? Am I going the right direction? Is this where I'm supposed to be? And then I show up and like, of course it is, but like, it's daytime now, and I'm only used to seeing it at night. And like my idiot caveman brain only recognized, like, I have not seen this before. We only see when it's night.
That's not. I've seen this house before. This house doesn't have sunlight on it.
Yeah, that means it never does. So anyway, so this guy pulls into the garage, and it is the Carranger. I'm sure it has it's the Pegasus garage, right? That's the name of it.
Correct.
So this is the Pegasus garage. And it turns out that this is the boss. Like, this is the president of this company. It has 5 employees, apparently, and those 5 employees are the Carrangers.
Yes,
that's it.
There is a secret 6th employee that the president is unaware of.
Yeah. So he gets up, and he is rocking an amazing suit.
Yeah, he's kind of dressed like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. He's just like this beautiful tweed plaid from top to bottom.
Well, I mean, and very specifically, he is wearing a deerstalker cap.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I somehow did not notice that. So incredible. So Japanese Sherlock Holmes is the president of Pegasus Garage, and he gets up and he gives like a rousing speech to his 5 employees. First thing in the morning.
Right. It's like, welcome to work.
Yeah.
Let's have an all office stand-up. I am going to talk to you about money.
And how great it is, and how it is the most important. And he says, quote, the most important thing in the world is money. If you don't have money, you can't afford your dreams.
Yeah. He says that it is a gift from heaven, and the thing that makes the impossible possible. Now,
okay, here's the thing. We don't like that message, but, like, he's not totally wrong.
Well, I mean
if you don't have money,
yeah,
you can't afford your... I'm not saying... he's wrong when he says the most important thing in the world is money. He's not wrong when he says if you don't have money, you can't afford your dreams. Like, you can have them, but you can be like... I dream of going to Venice. Be like, well, do you have money? Because American Airlines does not accept dreams.
Yeah, man, it's just this capitalist system, man, just keeping us down. So he's going on about money, and Dapu just like strolls in, even though Dapu has created for himself an entirely second garage adjacent to this one that is hidden from the boss. Dapu just treats the regular garage as though that is also his space, but has never been introduced to the boss.
The Rangers are out here, and he has a new thing to show them.
Sure, he needs to show them all about the Giga formula. So he just rolls up behind the boss. Now, he rolls up at the least opportune moment, Dave, because the boss is about to say something that is completely wild to me, and we never get to hear him finish his sentence. The boss says, the reason we call money money is because of Princess Diana. And then he starts to explain himself, and Dapu uses car magic to knock him unconscious.
Yeah. I also don't want to let it slide that Kyosuke, right?
Yeah.
I'm still learning all the Rangers' names. Kyosuke, the Red Ranger, is wearing just one heck of a cowboy shirt and what appears to be like some black pleather pants. It's a real look.
Yeah, I mean, this, I believe, is his look for the show. This is how he looks in the opening credits as well. So he's not just wearing that shirt today. We're going to be seeing a lot of that shirt.
That is an interesting stylistic choice.
I mean, I'm into it.
So
I am all the way
Dapu rolls
into
up, and he's got it looks like a Formula One car. It's like smaller than a go-kart, but like bigger than an RC car, basically. And it's a Formula One car that is like very clearly made out of Ranger weapons.
Okay, now you say that. I did not realize that this car was made out of Ranger weapons until the end of the episode.
Oh, did you not? Like, I saw it, and I saw that there were, like, 3 or 4 different colors on it. I was like, oh, those are clearly... Like, this is clearly Ranger weapons. Like, that's what this thing is.
You know, so it kind of is the same dimensions as the... What are they called? The Mega Racers? They're not the Speed Racers. They're individual go-karts. The speeder machines. So it's roughly the same dimensions as the speeder machines, but it is all the different colors. And so I don't know what I was thinking. I had just woken up when I was watching this episode. And so I was thinking, like, man, is this Dapu's car? Like, is this the one that he's going to drive?
Oh, that would have been good. But anyways, like, it's... Well, I guess we kind of spoiled the surprise a little bit. It is definitely, like, it is their individual weapons, which we are going to see later on in the episode. So Dapu says, yeah, I'm building this thing. Like, it's not quite right yet. Like, it's still kind of in development. And then he just starts spouting like literal nonsense. Like, he just starts saying like engineering words. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm not an engineer, as you know, but I did recognize a few of the phrases, and I'm like, okay, I actually kind of know what that thing is that you just said, and I do know for a fact that you're just spouting like literal nonsense. Well, you just looked in a book and just started stringing phrases together. And the Rangers are also super bored.
Right. Like
they're not interested in this at all.
Because the thing is, Dapu goes on for a while. Like, he's talking for about a minute before the Rangers are like, okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Now, that is... I just thought about this. That's very weird to me, though, because, like, they're all car people. And, like, not only are they car people, I think, like, based on this and some other stuff that the president of the company said earlier on, it seems that yeah, like, Pegasus Motors, their deal is that they do make bespoke cars. Like, that's what they do.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the last episode about how, like, man, it's like you don't just build cars in a mechanic's garage, but this is not a mechanic's garage, as we are discovering.
This seems to be like, it is a fabrication facility for what I assume
cars.
To be hideously expensive, like, handmade cars, effectively.
So it actually, in this, the way this scene works is that Kyosuke is like, well, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go for a jog because I'm the test driver for this company and I need to be in good shape. And I don't understand any of the science they're saying. So I'm out of here. And then one by one, each of them says like, oh yeah, like, what is it?
Okay, so here's what it is Naoki, the blue racer is
he's like the R&D department.
Yeah, he's their like R&D like design guy, and then Minoru Uesugi, who is the green racer, is their sales guy. And Natsumi Shinohara, who is the yellow racer, she is like the bookkeeper, I think.
No, you flipped that. The yellow racer is the one who's in like the mechanic's jumpsuit. I think she is the one who is actually the mechanic.
Oh, okay.
And then Yoko.
So sorry, yellow racer is Natsumi Shinohara.
Yeah,
and she's the mechanic. Which her jumpsuit is, everybody else is like pretty color coded. Her jumpsuit is all red, and I feel like it would have been very easy for them to get a yellow mechanic's jumpsuit. But anyways, she is the actual mechanic, and then Yoko Yagami is Yoko. I think Yuko, maybe? Yuko Yagami is the pink racer, and she is like the bookkeeper.
Yeah. And it's really, it is very convenient that they give that all to us in this episode, because last episode, I'm like, okay, they all kind of work at this garage, but I don't know what the garage's deal is, and I don't know why one of them is wearing a suit and the other ones aren't. And in this second episode, they're like, oh, yeah, no, we should actually tell you what the deal is with these people. Here is one scene that explains all of their deals.
Yeah, and they did a really good job. So they all just and Dapu is completely oblivious. Like, he is completely absorbed by Giga Formula, which is what this car is called. And he's just talking, and then he turns around and realizes that like everybody is left.
Natsumi is still there. Natsumi has remained. I think maybe because she is the mechanic and she actually kind of knows what he's talking about, or maybe she just actually has work to do and can't just bail. Okay, so we head back up to the BB Saloon up on the Baozak. What's the name of? Do we have a name for this like Death Star highway planet thing?
I don't actually know that we do. Or I haven't seen one yet. So, maybe we will get one eventually. But it is their evil planet.
Yeah, it is like an evil second moon that is now circling the Earth.
Yeah. So we're up at the BB Saloon, and we find out something, we find out not only why President Dynamo blows up planets, but specifically why he blows them up with fireworks. It turns out that Zanet, for whom the President Dynamo is just like extraordinarily thirsty, has kind of a fireworks thing. Like
she's very passionate about fireworks.
She is passionate in a very expressive way.
Yeah.
Trying to keep things chill here.
Man,
but yeah,
you know how
Zanet really likes fireworks. Like a lot.
I feel like this is one of those situations every time we are going to be talking about Zanet, we are going to try to be as family friendly as possible, but like doing it in such a way.
They don't make it easy.
Well, the problem is I feel like at some point we're going to be so vague that we're going to make it sound like worse than what it is. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I hear what you're saying. I mean, in this particular case, I feel like we communicated it pretty clearly. So President Guinan was like, listen, baby, I love you, but I can't yet because of these Carrangers. I would love to explode the Earth with fireworks for you. Can't do it yet. Like, we'll get there. But I did get you these sparklers, like, from a store on Earth, which seems weird, because, like, I obviously didn't buy them, so it just seems weird that he would have, like, stopped off to buy a small bag of sparklers.
Right, because any place that sells sparklers probably also sells other fireworks. He was robbing the place anyway. Why didn't he just take the good
ones?
Stuff?
So he shows her the sparklers, and she clearly, like, she's like both insulted and disinterested. She's like, dude, that's not what I want.
Right.
So, some of the patrons, and she like leaves. She sort of like flounces off.
Oh, well, first she does break a bottle over his head.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And then some of the patrons in the BB Saloon laugh at President Dynamo because, like, he was clearly making a move and it did not work. And so he kills them.
Right. He just stares at two of the Wumpers, which are like the putties. He stares at them very hard. They, like, turn to ice and shatter.
Yeah, which is a neat power.
It's a neat power, and it's also a neat moment in the episode because Dynamo is like, he is in charge, right? Like, he is the president, but A, it's only the second episode, so he hasn't been like really well established, and B, he very much, like, you know, is following Zanet around like a puppy. So it is nice to get those moments of like, oh no, this guy is serious business, even if he's kind of dopey.
Well, I also kind of dig it because in other seasons there has been like a very, how to say it, like the bad guys have been a little more hierarchical, if that makes sense. But like the whole thing with the Baozak seems to be that like they're reckless drivers, like they're kind of chaotic. So President Dynamo isn't the president because, like, you know, he's the emperor or like whatever. He's the president because if you don't do what he says, like, he shatters you with ice staring.
Right.
So
like, he's the boss of a gang. He's not the
He's not the
king.
emperor. He's not the whatever. Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe I'm reading a little too much into it, but I
think that's right.
So then enter BB Donpa, the Beethoven of the universe.
Yep.
Yep, that is his title. So BB Donpa.
And when you say he rolls in, he drives into the bar on his motorcycle.
Okay.
So he's like
how to
orange.
How to describe BB Donpa, man?
He's covered in speakers and horns.
He's covered in speakers and horns and also railroad tracks. The railroad tracks are like covering his, like running across his eyes.
Yes. What's weird is that the effect of the railroad tracks running across his eyes and then his like weird big toothy mouth below that make him look like the Judge Dredd villain Judge Death. Which, if you've never read that, is not a great explanation. But if you have, that's what this dude looks like. He also has a big decal on his back that looks like a tattoo, and I think it says fanboy on it.
Yeah, it does, and it is a winged skull. And he's got some pointy boots, like curled up pointy boots, like jester-style pointy boots, and a like 4-foot-high pompadour. So that's his look.
That's his whole
and
deal.
also he also, like, his upper body is like 3 times the size of his lower body. Like, BB Donpa definitely skips leg day.
Yeah, well, I feel like if we're going to see a lot of, like, motorcycle boys in this season, we're going to get a lot of that.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of, like, minimally, like, lower body costumed. So, he rolls in, and he has the most incredible plan.
Yeah. So
I love this plan.
Do we want to talk about the plan?
This is one of the most...
Do we want to talk about the plan now or when he is explaining it to the people of Earth?
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. Let's talk about it in a minute. So we go back down to Earth, and we see Kyosuke, and he is working out, definitely, but he was in such a rush to get out of Dapu's, like, terrible lecture that he hasn't bothered to change. So he is just going for a brisk jog in a, like, velvet cowboy shirt and black pleather pants, which does not seem like great activewear at Kyosuke.
He is also...
And then he stops in the middle of his jog to order 2 Texas dogs out of the back of a van.
And
so
sadly,
first of all, I don't even know what a Texas dog is.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's sad about
good.
this is that somebody, DB Donpa is driving by, and so he gets distracted before we get to find out what a Texas dog is.
Yeah. So, very briefly, Matt, can I say something about hot dogs?
Sure, anytime.
Yeah, thank you. So, I did go to a Cincinnati chili.
Okay.
Or a Skyline chili. I went to a Skyline chili.
Why have you done this thing?
Well, Beth went. Like, after hearing me dunk on it real hard, she wanted to try it. And so she went, and she actually kind of dug it. And she's like, listen, when's the last time you actually went to one? I was like, I don't know. It's been a very long time because it's not good. And she said, is it possible that you're just harboring a more extreme opinion because they're funnier? And I said, well, they definitely are funnier. So that is possible. But, like, all right, I'll go try it. So we went and I tried it. And here is my revised opinion on Cincinnati chili. The actual chili itself isn't bad, but it's still a stupid restaurant because they don't know what to do with their own product.
Okay.
Because it doesn't match, like, the flavors of it don't match anything that they do with it. Because what it actually is like, it's sort of like a Greek, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, like, heavy, like, bolognese sauce. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's, like, meaty, and there's, like, cinnamon and, like, some other, I think there's, like, maybe, like, clove and stuff in there. And it's actually pretty good. And they're like, here's what we'll do with it. We'll put it on cold spaghetti with cheddar cheese, which is madness. Like, the sauce itself is okay, but they're idiots because they do the worst possible things with it.
Yeah, I
so like,
I
if you
don't
could just get
remember
it,
if I said it this way in our previous discussion about Cincinnati chili, but I feel like Skyline is one of those things where someone tried to make spaghetti and bolognese and they just messed up so bad that they had to start calling it something else because they couldn't admit that it was supposed to have been bolognese.
No, it was started by like a Greek immigrant, basically. So like he made Greek food and like, I don't know, like just decided to call it chili. But the point is like if you had it as a side with like other Greek food, it would probably be fine. But like, don't go to Cincinnati chili.
Okay.
Or still don't go to Skyline chili. Anyways, so I was thinking about that because they do like Coney dogs. Anyways, so we don't get to find out what a Texas dog is, which is a shame because I would really like to know that. But BB Donpa shows up, and he rides around on a motorcycle for a minute, and then he like hops off the motorcycle, and he jumps up, and he says, "Awaken, cars of Earth! Like sing your terrible song or something." And he starts like waving his arms, and the cars of Earth like fly up into the sky, and their horns start going. And this is where we find out what BB Donpa's plan is.
It's beautiful.
It's, yeah, in its madness. So he says, here's the plan. I am going to send all the cars of Earth into orbit around Earth. And I will have them blow their horns continually. And the noise pollution, it will be so loud that all the other aliens in the universe will get so irritated that they will come and they will explode Earth for us.
Right, because they'll just be so sick of hearing all these cars.
So first of all, I feel like they could have just let BB Donpa do this one, because that's not how sound in space works.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this show that isn't how it works, Dave. Maybe we can assume that in the Carranger universe, whatever superpower he is using to, like...
just to be clear, Matt, are you proposing that the Carranger universe is one in which ether is real? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know, man. It's one in which car magic is real. Why not?
Yeah, okay, I guess, sure. So that's the plan. And then Kyosuke looks up at him. And this is great, because this is how you know it's only the second episode and that Kyosuke is very new at his job, because he looks up at him and he's like, "Are you Balzac?"
What's the other option here, Kyosuke?
Yeah, the dude with train track eyes that is making cars fly around. Yes, that dude is a Balzac guy, obviously.
And BB Donpa's response to this is not yes, of course. His response is, "Hey man, what's wrong with being a Balzac?" Which, if
like
you are a Balzac, is a very reasonable response.
Yeah. So, yeah, actually, Kyosuke, kind of racist.
Yeah, man.
So anyways, Lieutenant, what's that guy's name again?
Zelmoda.
Lieutenant Deputy Leader Zelmoda. He shows up and he's got like a flying jar that he rolls around on that they keep the battle wumpers in, and or combatant wumpers, and he's like, "Wumpers, go!" And and they all sort of like fly out. And then they attack.
Well, most of them attack. One of them trips, and then as he is trying to get up, is chased away by a small, adorable dog.
So there are different colors of wumpers, and that one is a white wumper. And then later we will see another white wumper like do something similarly silly or cowardly or something.
I assumed it was the same one, and I don't know why.
I think it's just like, oh, the white wumpers are like the doofy ones. Like they're not good at their job.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. Are we under the impression now that the wumpers are color coded like the foot soldiers from the Ninja Turtle video games?
Yes, I think we are. I think we have to assume that.
Okay, now, but they're not the same colors, of course, because the white ones in those games are tougher because you don't get to them until later. So we're saying that maybe like the white Wumpers are like the purple foot soldiers.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, I am looking at the page real quickly. Yeah, the Wumpers come in 4 colors. The white ones are kind of rarer, and they are often like they show up, and there's a quick sight gag Based on them, and then they like run away. Like that is the thing with the white Wumpers.
Okay, I'm into that. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
Yeah,
does it give us an explanation on the other 3 types?
It does not. I think they just have like different color costumes.
I mean,
it's fun.
like the orange ones have the bombs, right? The I'm trying to remember more foot soldier things. I can only remember that the orange ones have bombs.
Oh man, that's a deep hole you could go down. Okay, so yeah, he unleashes the Wumpers. One of them is defeated by the dog, and then we get then Kyosuke henshins, and the henshin sequence. Like
he kind of runs away first. He like runs into an alley to henshin.
Yeah, he does. Well, who knows? Maybe he's trying to maintain his secret identity for a second. No, because they did it on public before. Anyways, his henshin as like the actor doing the thing is fine, but the animated sequence that we get is pretty rad. Because like the Excel charger like opens up and there's like some gears and stuff there, like in an engine, and like spinning around and doing stuff, and then it's just like very energetic, and we're getting a lot of like cool sound effects. It's rad.
It is very good.
So he calls everyone. He's like, "Hey everybody, like I'm over here. There's Balzac. Like you got to get over here. We got to help." And everybody is doing the thing that they said that they were doing, except for Yoku. Yuko.
I think it's Yuko. It's Youko.
I think it's Yuko.
Or I mean,
Yeah,
that's
so
not
everybody's-
actually what it is. That is how it is like anglicized, but
Yeah, so everybody is doing what they said they were doing, except Yuko, who is just at a cafe, like having a cup of coffee.
right.
So they all kind of, it's great. It's sort of like Mask.
That is exactly how it is in my notes.
Yeah, they're all kind of doing their thing. Man, that was such a cool show. How has nobody made a live-action Mask movie yet?
I don't know. There was a recent Mask comic book reboot.
Was there?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
The Mobile Armored Strike Command.
I would watch the bejesus out of a live-action Mask movie. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it calls everybody.
Oh, by the way,
then,
Yuko is at a cafe when she gets the call, and she just gets up and leaves, and I'm not convinced that she paid.
So we go back to Pegasus Motors, and the president is starting to wake up, and he's still talking about Princess Diana. And then Dapu sees that he's starting to wake up, and instead of just re-knocking him out with car magic, he reaches up on a shelf and pulls down like a plastic toy hammer.
Yeah, I mean,
and hits him in the head with it.
Thankfully, it wasn't like
I don't know why that's
a real hammer, but what?
Okay, I'm going to assume that this is a deference to the fact that this is a children's television show, that they did not want to show Dapu hitting someone in the head with a real hammer.
Oh, that makes
because
a
that's
very
just,
good point. Yeah.
That's not a thing that you want to show children.
It's like, hey, I'll be like that funny guy on TV. I mean, in a minute, our heroes are going to be murdering things with swords, but I think that's still a good point.
Yeah, so that I'm willing to let them make that concession.
Yeah, so
to have a ridiculous plastic hammer.
So Balzac.
So we go from there.
Yeah. So the reason that we go back to that, by the way, is because the Yellow Ranger is still there listening to him. And she gets the update like, hey, Balzac is here now. You need to stop babbling on and we need to go help everyone. So he's like, okay. So both Dapu and her name is Natsumi? Yes. Natsumi head out to the fight. So the Kyosuke is trying to fight like this whole crowd of Wumpers along with Zelmoda. But like, even though he's the Red Ranger and he's henshined, it's only episode 2. So if you have to fight that many people, like, you're just not going to have a good time of it.
Yeah, well, this is kind of a fun series or element of this, I think, which is like, so the Die Rangers, everybody was, like Ryo wasn't a ranger before, but he was like, like he had combat training, like he was a martial artist, and in an O Ranger and in Kaku Ranger, there was some, like obviously they were in the military or like they were already ninjas. The last time we saw something sort of like this actually was Jetman, which is these folks were not prepared to be Rangers. Like this is not a, like they just kind of got out of the blue, like they're just Rangers.
Right.
So like Raita and Akko, like they were not, they were just people. And so even though they were Rangers and they had these superpowers, they still had a lot of steps to take to really, kind of be in the groove of that fully in that way. So, and we're seeing a little bit now, like obviously they're still they're still Rangers.
Oh,
like
sure.
they're still using these swords like pretty well, but they have not, they're not like really in it. So we're there and we see Red and he's trying to fight and there's all these cars flying around and they do a lot of very cool practical effects, like swinging these cars around from cables and just like launching driverless cars places. Like they really sell the idea that these cars are just sort of flying around. It's great.
Yeah, well, I think what's very cool is that like Carranger is from 1996.
I think so.
Yeah, this is the 1996 into early 1997 season, and so like the late 90s were kind of this is just before like in a season or two we're gonna start getting CGI stuff. But we don't really have it yet. So this is like the full culmination of all of the practical effects that they have learned in the prior 20 plus years of doing Super Sentai. And we really get to see a lot of that on display in this show. Like I really love it when they charge up the Viblades.
Yeah, those are neat.
That sort of like electricity effect I think looks awesome.
Yeah, I do love it. Now, that might be, I think I have very fond feelings of it based on Star Wars, based on like Dark Force Lightning.
Maybe.
But, Dark Side Lightning. So, anyways, the Rangers all arrive in their go-karts. My internal jury is still out on these go-karts.
On whether or not it is cool to drive around in go-karts.
Yeah, on one hand, go-karts are very cool, but on the other hand, they're trying to make them like rad and dramatic, and that's not working super well. So mostly what you're getting is like grown adults in colorful costumes in these like goofily small cars.
I mean, the problem is not that they're in go-karts, right? The problem is that if they didn't have go-karts, they would have motorcycles or dirt bikes, and those definitely are cool. So
I think that's, you kind of put your finger on it, is you've taken away something that's definitely cool for something that is questionably cool. But they're the Carrangers. You couldn't put them in, like, I understand the dilemma, because you can't just put them in on bikes, because they're the Carrangers.
Right.
But you also can't just have all 5 Rangers driving around like full-sized cars.
Right, that would be weird, because then they would just be like, in a truck running over a bunch of wumpers.
I would actually kind of love to see that. But now, here's the thing that they do well, is they do some very good go-karting.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they're doing like drift stops and stuff. Like, it's neat. So they arrive, everybody henshins. I think their tagline is just fighting for traffic safety. It's the second time they've said it.
Hey, I'm into it.
It's not as cool as Shining in the Heavens There Are 5 Stars.
I mean, we're not going to name a segment of our show after it, but I think it works for them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big proponent of traffic safety, so so again, we get their rad swords. I love there's an engine block in them. Their guns are called the Auto Punishers, which I dig.
I'm sorry, Dave. I hate to correct you. They're called the Auto Blasters, but then when they shift up, they become the Auto Punishers.
That's right. I also really like, I dig that they're fitting in a lot of car terminology here. I think that's fun. So, we're in this scene and BB Donpa is like continuing to attack and he's just yelling BB periodically. I'm not really sure why.
And it's one of those things like when the other 4 of the Carrangers showed up, the fight was going well for a minute, but now there's just like a bunch of cars running into them, and it's not super good. Dapu, who is sort of
trouble with that,
standing off to the side, is like, okay, this sucks. I'm going to get out of here because the only way they're going to win this fight is if I can actually finish the Giga Formula.
Yeah. So he dashes back to Pegasus Motors. When he gets there, the president is waking up again. And he sees Giga Formula, and he's like, oh, wow, that's actually really impressive. But I'm also like, he's also irritated that they're building it behind his back. Like don't use company time for your personal projects. Or something.
Right. That costs money, which, as we all know, is the most important thing of the world. It's a gift from heaven. It makes the impossible possible.
So Giga Formula sort of like wakes up and attacks, like menaces. Maybe he menaces the president.
I think
it menaces the president.
It's up on a stand, right? And the president kicks the stand, and Giga Formula just like falls and then activates.
Yeah, so I think maybe it was more done than Dapu led us to believe.
Yeah.
The president freaks out. He runs into a wall head first and knocks himself out. So that's fun.
This guy, man, I really hope that this is not just what his life is going to be like going forward, because I'm going to feel very badly for this man.
Man, I think you need to prepare yourself for that to be the case.
For just a full season of head trauma?
Yeah, I am fairly confident that we're going to get a lot of that. I just have a feeling. So Giga Formula powers up, and then Dapu realizes something. Like, you can tell that he has a moment of realization, but it is not clear what about, and it's never explained.
Okay, here's my theory on that.
And then he doesn't do, just to be clear, he does not do anything further to Giga Formula, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, so here's...
as far as I can tell.
Here's what I think happened. I think that Dapu had built, like, Giga Formula, but, like, it wasn't configured quite correctly. But all of the pieces, all of the required pieces were there. Because, like, the muffler was sort of on sideways. And so when the president kicked it off its stand and it fell... like, the pieces that weren't quite aligned, like, locked into place. So when Dapu shows up and he sees it, and he sees that, like, basically the mufflers aren't sticking straight up, they're sticking out back now, he's like, oh, cool, I think that will now work. And that was his realization, and that's also why he didn't have to do any further work on it.
Oh, okay, so the falling is like...
that
it
I think is what
to
happened.
Knock it in just the right way.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I dig it.
It makes enough sense that I'm willing to accept it and move on, frankly. So Dapu heads back to the fight. I guess he probably drives Giga Formula, although I don't think we actually see that happening.
I don't know that there is not enough space for a person to fit into this thing. He just is there with it. Also, I want to say, I know I already mentioned it, but they are legit just like hurling these cars around. Like I said, some of them are on strings, and some of them, I'm not really sure what they did, because like there's definitely does not seem to be a driver in there, and they're just kind of careening down the street and like off ramps and exploding and stuff. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, I don't know what the budget on this season was, but it couldn't have been that small. Like, these aren't fancy cars, but they are cars. So as Dapu arrives, he calls the Rangers over. He's like, hey, check it out. I got the Giga Formula. It's done. It's all yours. Also, here is the owner's manual. And I love this. Well, I love this for a lot of reasons. But the two main reasons I love this are, one, it's a car and they're getting the owner's manual, and that's a fun gag. And two, it's a new piece of gear, and they're actually being given instructions on how it works, which is maybe the only time we have ever seen that.
It is the only time. I love it. Like, he's got an owner's manual, which they stop in the middle of combat to read.
It's
which
like
is amazing.
In a little plastic sleeve.
Yeah, like they really did it. Like somebody had a lot of fun making this pop, because like they open it up and you can see it. Like, it definitely just looks like a car owner's manual, but it is also definitely like it's clearly Giga Formula in the illustrations. So here are the weapons they get. So Pink Racer gets the bumper bow. It's like a bow and arrow. Red Racer gets the Fender sword. Mm-hmm. Blue Racer gets the muffler gun, so like twin, like giant pistols, kind of. Yellow Ranger gets the roll bar knuckles, which I think is my personal favorite. And then Green Racer gets the engine cannon. And it is like a giant two-handed, seems like it should be shoulder-mounted energy cannon. I really feel like Green Racer drew the winning straw on this one.
Well, especially as compared to muffler guns.
Muffler guns and like a bow and arrow. He's got just like an energy cannon. It's rad looking,
like,
first
it's
of all.
It's kind of unwieldy, but like when we see it in action, it is devastating.
Yeah, it's like far and away the most powerful weapon. It's awesome. Okay, so BB Boma attacks them with like he's got air hunkers.
I'm sorry,
like a
Dave,
bunch of air hunkers strapped to his wrist.
Did you call him BB Boma?
That's what's in my notes. What did I? His name is wrong. It's not Boma.
It's Donpa.
Donpa.
I mean,
why does it say Boma?
I don't know. Did you write it upside down?
Anyways, okay. So BB Donpa, he's got like horns like attached to his arms, and then he like holds his arms out, and they all go like honk, and then that's an energy attack somehow. It's surprisingly powerful. And they're like, the racers are like, Dapu, what do we do? And he's like, go read the owner's manual. Like, could you not just tell them? So they have to like run over, but it's on fire.
Yeah, like they dropped it and part of it's on fire. So like looking through the flames to get the instructions on how to operate this thing. They're like, oh, if we put these pieces back together in a different configuration, it becomes the Nova formula or Formula Nova. And Formula Nova is like this.
I think it's Formula. Yeah, it's Formula Nova.
It looks sort of like a turret. Like it's a cannon, but it's not something that they hold. It's like on a pedestal, sort of.
No, yeah, I really dig it because it's the first one we've seen that isn't just sort of like they're not just holding it. It is like definitely this thing. It's rad. So they use it and they explode BB Donpa.
Kind of. Because BB Donpa sees them
of
putting it together. He's like, oh no, I am out of here. That sucks. And so he just hops on his motorcycle and drives away. And as he is driving away, they shoot him in the back, which is kind of weird. But it doesn't actually kill him. Because the next thing we see is that we go back up to the bar at the BB Saloon, right? Mm-hmm. And like everybody rolls in, and BB Donpa also rolls in, but like his back is sort of smoking and smoldering because he's just been shot with a big laser that I guess shot him all the way to the moon, which is good. Or
maybe
whatever, not the moon, but this other moon thing. Sorry, I'm very used to things being on the moon. I'm gonna have to break myself of that.
Yeah.
So
he rolls in, and I fully expected President Dynamo to just be like, "You have failed," and kill him. He doesn't.
Well, he doesn't yet. What happens is there's so much sound because all of BB Donpa's horns and sirens and stuff are going crazy. And all of that noise summons a UFO that is flying by. It's like, hey, keep that noise down, and starts attacking the Bowsack. The last shot in this scene is BB Donpa's arm disconnected from his body, falling to the ground. I don't know if they just cut off his horn arm or if that was supposed to be representative that he died, but something happened. Somebody made a drastic move.
Yeah, so I'm not...
Although I do like that this is definite proof that BB Donpa's plan would have worked.
Yeah, it totally would have, loved it.
And then that's not the end yet, right? We have a scene back at the garage.
Yeah, there is one short scene back at the garage where we see sort of everybody just doing their actual jobs. And the president has woken up and is clearly like disoriented. And they're like, oh, your wife is on the phone, which she is. And then we get a short one-sided conversation about him, like the business of Pegasus Motors, where he talks with his wife. And that's the end of the episode.
Yes, Dave. But it is not the end of our episode.
It's not.
Because now it is our opportunity to see where BB Dampa lands on the Creature Royale. Now, if you are new to the show with this season, we have a full master list of the ranking from best to worst of all of the monsters from all of the seasons that we've done.
Yeah. So, I like BB Dampa. I think he has a fun and insane plan. And also, we discover it is a plan that would have worked. He's got a bonkers look. Like he's buck wild. I can't handle his visuals. I love him. He doesn't have like a ton of like personality, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, he kind of does.
I mean, he does. Yeah, I'm actually going to take that back. Like, I have a pretty good feeling for who BB Dampa is as a person. So, I'm definitely thinking, like, top half, but not in, like, that top 20, top 30 space.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, he is not, like, he's not lipstick songstress, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not. So, I am kind of looking in and around, like, Bara Skunk, Binbogami, Omukade the football centipede. That's all very good.
Well, now, Dave, I will say this is our Christmas episode, and Omukade the football centipede was also disguised as a Santa Claus.
Okay,
in a colony of
I
Santa
think that's
Clauses.
a good spot.
So I wouldn't just for the Christmas spirit. I don't want to put BB Dampa ahead of Omukade.
Yeah, okay.
The Santa Claus football centipede.
Right, so if we keep going down, we're running into like Kame Itachi the sickle weasel, Umibozu the navy monster, Kasha the fireworks monster. I actually don't think I like BB Dampa as much as them. But once we get down into like Bara Fawcett, right below Bara Fawcett is Ant Bazooka, and then Oboro Gumura the taxi man. And I am actually pretty okay with BB Dampa being like just below Bara Fawcett.
Yeah, because like I certainly wouldn't put him below Oboro Gumura, the living taxi monster, because right below that is the Shironiri, the rag monster.
Shironiri, the rag monster, and that guy's awesome.
Awesome, but I think perhaps not as good as BB Dampa.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, right below Bara Fawcett, because Bara Fawcett was the one where like he was selling like weird health drinks.
Yeah, so
and he was like shapeshifting and stuff. So
yeah, and Ant Bazooka is in a cool episode and does some weird stuff, but he doesn't have like a personality.
Yeah. Okay, so that puts BB Dampa in at new slot number 59.
All right.
On the Creature Royale.
And I think that's a pretty good showing for our first sort of Monster of the Week from Carranger.
Yeah, well done, sir.
But now having completed that is going to do it for another episode of License to Carranger. Before we finish up here, I'd like to remind you all that you can email the show at supersentaibrothers@gmail.com. You want to get any updates on future episodes or check out the things that we're talking about on Twitter, we are at Super Sentai Bros. If you like the show, please remember that shining in the iTunes review section, there are 5 stars. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you find the show. That's what's going to help other people find it. Tell a friend, tell a loved one. If you see your family for the holidays, just let them know. Let them know we're out here doing the thing. The Super Sentai Brothers are...
It's like a free gift you can give to them.
The Super Sentai Brothers are a production of Retrograde Orbit Radio. If you'd like to listen to any of the other great Retrograde Orbit Radio shows, you can do that all at retrogradeorbitradio.com. Once again, we are the Super Sentai Brothers. I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
And we'll see you next week for the greatest show on Earth.